Today, Professor Purohit delivered research design in brief. So, in this occasion, I request Surbi to introduce Dr. Purohit.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Today is third day of 5 days online national workshop on research methodology. I, Surbi Suman, on behalf of Rishabh Educational Society, welcome you all. On this third day, our resource person is Dr. S.C. Prohit. Dr. Professor S.C. Prohit is currently Dean at School of Management and Dean Student Welfare, Doon University, Dehradun. Professor Prohit also held Office of Registrar and Head of Department School Management, Doon University. Before joining Doon University, he has also served as Dean Faculty of Management Studies, Proctor of University, and Media Coordinator of University at VVS Provincial University, Jaunpur. His teaching and research interest includes marketing management, consumer behavior, and marketing research. He has to his credit, more than 60 research papers published in national and international journals. He has presented more than 100 papers in conferences, seminars of national and international repute. Professor Prohit has also chaired the session and delivered keynote lectures at various conferences and national and international repute. Professor Prohit has also been part of many FDPs and MDPs in the role of program course director, coordinator, and a resource person. He has also conducted various program and research studies under the funding of ICSSR and UGC. Professor Prohit has been awarded with Best Business Academic of Year Gold Medal in 2022 by Indian Commerce Association. He also has been conferred with Dean of Year Award in 2022 by Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Fellow of Indian Commerce Association Award in 22 and 2016, Best Teacher Award by Lions Club in 2016, and Executive Council Member of Indian Commerce Association in 2015 to 2018, and also the prestigious award of Professor Manubhai Shah Memorial Research Award in 2011. So now I welcome Dr. Professor SC Prohit to welcome the lecture on research design. So please continue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Rasmi Sinha, founder of Rishabh Educational Society. Professor Dr. S.K. Sinha, patron of the society. Dr. Surbi Suman, convener of the program. Dear participants and scholars who are attending this research methodology workshop being organized by Rishabh Educational Society, and today is the third session of this series. Professor Sinha himself is a great academician, known for his contribution to management studies for decades. So his devotion to academics is remarkable and very high. On this very pious occasion, and we can say that in the memory of his beloved son, the whole entire Sinha family is trying to nurture the future of the nation. All the participants, scholars, budding scholars are the future of this country. So Dr. Sinha himself pioneered in the field of finance, entrepreneurship, and management studies. Whole family under his leadership and his worthy father, late B.K. Sinha ji, always try to nurture whole family which is full respect and where full regard is given to education. So education is the foremost priority of the family. So my respect and regard to all the members who are involved in this venture, who are involved in this noble profession for this noble cause. So whatever is decided by ignore and we can't do anything, but what we can do is what Dr. Sinha is doing. So whatever hardship and whatever struggle he witnessed, the whole family has suffered, we can overcome when we try to bring happiness on others' face. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna has beautifully carved and explained two types of karmas. So as a human being, we have to perform kriya as well as karma. Kriya we do for our living. We earn money to meet our children's education. We work to earn to meet our parents' health expenses, to maintain our household living standards. And every animal does kriya for their survival. So kriya we all do for our own survival. But we intellectuals and academicians are supposed to do kriya as well as karma. We human beings are known for and are supposed to perform karma with kriya, because every animal is doing kriya for their survival. So kriya is for survival, and karma means when we make efforts, and which efforts are priceless. Without payment, without honorarium, without remuneration, if we are performing, it means we are making efforts to bring happiness on others' face. So this Rishabh Educational Society is dedicated for the generations, the coming generations, and this workshop series in the memory of late Rishabh Nilav Sanjay is very, very pious work, in my opinion, and I am sure that this kind of efforts, and by performing this type of, karma, they are trying to nurture the future of this country. That is very, very appreciable and remarkable. And we all can learn how we can bring happiness on others' face for what we are not being paid. So with these words, once again, I pay my heartfelt tribute to a great soul. It was untimely and very sad and saddened, in fact, pain to the whole family. And Dr. Sinha asked me to discuss on research design. So with these words, once again, I extend hearty welcome to all participants, budding researchers from different education background. And I belong to business and management, so my topic and my discussion would be close to my area, but it can be applied because methodology, particularly in humanities and behavioral sciences, are common to a great extent. So we can understand if conceptual clarity is there, then there is no problem to take our study in any domain, in any area. So if my slide is visible, then let me know. Otherwise, I will try again to share my PowerPoint.
Yes, visible. Your slide is visible.
Okay, thank you very much. So basics of business research methods. this I will try to explain. And the topics for discussion includes scientific process, types of empirical studies, purposes of research design, and ultimately the outcome of the research should contribute to the knowledge society. So what is the contribution? If the research is not explaining its contribution, then it is not complete. So these are the sub sections of the discussion that we are going to discuss. Research, I don't know the group attending this workshop may be heterogeneous, but research definition, as according to Oxford Dictionary, it is explained that systematic investigation into and study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and research new conclusions. According to Oxford Dictionary, systematic investigation and study of material and sources for what? To establish facts and reach new conclusions. So novelty, new means novelty. We have to ensure what new is there. So novelty is very important. If research is missing that novelty, then you must have seen and gone through newspapers that few days back, economics Nobel is given to a lady. She was working on women employees because they were being paid less in comparison to male counterparts. So this is the novelty. What new dimension we are adding to the existing knowledge system. Kothari book is very common. When we used to ask our scholars what book you have referred to, you have consulted, most of them are acquainted and they knows Kothari's. So what Kothari has said about research methodology determines how such investigation will take place and has been defined as a way to systematically solve the research problem. Research methodology determines how such investigation is to be conducted and systematically to solve the problem. So problem solving and the process, systematic process, according to Kothari. Wells has said that there is no standard methodology that applies to all research cases. Methodology has to be selected based on the nature and scope of the study at one hand and type of data available. This is according to Bell. So there is no standard. We can't say that this is a machine, like if we want to purchase 1 liter milk. So 1 liter standardized measurement is there. Shopkeeper will give us 1 liter milk. 1 kilo sugar, if we are going to purchase, then standardized tool is there. 1 kilo will be weighted. After weighing that 1 kilo, shopkeeper will hand over. But as far concerned research programs, according to Bell, there is no standard method. It depends on the subject, scope, and the data, whatever data and nature of the research. So first we have to understand what kind of research we are supposed to conduct and we are conducting. Then Cohen, 1962, defines a paradigm as a set of linked assumptions about the world, which is shared by the community of scientists and provides a conceptual framework for the organized study of the world. So whatever suggestions or whatever findings are there already, research means already something is given. That is what is defined and explained by Cohen, that scientist community, what they provided conceptual background means what idea they conceived. So we can organize, we can conduct empirical experiments or empirical evidences in that conceptual framework. Amartunga and team in 2002 said, the research paradigm shapes the researcher's methodological approach. Used to investigate the research question, there are two fundamental schools of thought that influence current paradigms in research. And that paradigm, the scientific and the humanistic. Humanistic and scientific. Both kind of, approach they have mentioned. Each providing opposing ontological and epistemological views. So in research, ontological and epistemology, both are very important because whatever theory we are testing, somehow it is there in the behavior, in the cognition of a human being. That is why humanistic. So scientific temperament, scientific understanding, outstanding, whatever temperament is being developed, it is also outcome of cognition. And then cognitive development is a part of psychological development, and which can be considered under humanistic approach. So that is why two type of school of thoughts are there, what Amartunga and team has mentioned. So come to how we are getting information, from where this knowledge is generated. That is very important. As a researcher, we have to understand model of governance, what kind of society we have. That will decide the source of knowledge. The governance is very, very important. So first category is mythical. Sometimes some types of myths are there in the society, and we as a child, during our childhood, we have heard and we listened from our grandpas and great-grandfathers, mothers, and then it is somewhere and somehow it built up in our cognition, and accordingly we lead ahead that this is true, this is not true. So that kind of mythical approach is there, or somewhere it is derived from the authority. Some dharma gurus, some philosophers, they also set some kind of principles and assumptions in the society, and that is being practiced by the society, and that continued generation to generation, and that we know as knowledge source, that we have heard from our grandpa, our great-grandpa, our dharma guru, our saints, religious leaders, religious preachers, and accordingly we transfer it to our next generation. So that is one source. Then second is authoritative. Authoritative knowledge source means whatever dictatorship, whatever is directed by the state is correct. No argument, no space for disagreement. So that kind of authoritative crown, kingship and emperorship governance during that regime, that period, we can easily understand the level of knowledge. Whatever directions are given by the authority, it is supposed to be followed by the society. Then next is logical, rational thinking. Rational thinking means there is democracy type of governance. If you have said some point, I am free to argue. So argumentative logics are being developed. But in authoritative governance, no space for argument. In logical, that is being practiced. So logic means whatever statement we have narrated or we have shared, supposed to be supported by the relevant literature or relevant evidences. If evidence is not there, then that knowledge is not proved, cannot be believed. Logically, if I am supporting, then it is fine. And last one is scientific. Scientific means experimentally proved. We all have, two-wheeler, four-wheeler computer, mobile, washing machine, television, so on and so forth. Different type of technologies we are using in our routine life. And all functions are proved. If we want to start our vehicle, we will insert key on ignition and then it will spark and get started. And after, giving accelerator, it will get pick up and we can change the gear accordingly and race it and move, ride it and drive it. Because it is scientifically proved. So whatever is proved, and that is the base for knowledge. So knowledge source in different type of society has been derived from different sources. And that is known as truth. So whatever knowledge is there, it is truth. So truth in different kind of society and different kind of governance may be different. So we cannot say a thumb rule. That is why Amartunga has said there is no set standard. So standard and norms are also can be different and can be viewed in a different way. How to seek truth and create knowledge, that is very important to lead a scientific research. Science is the pursuit of truth, of explanation, prediction, and control of phenomena. Truth obtained from the scientific method contains both logic and evidence. So science means logic with evidence. If logic is not proved, then it is not scientific. It is only conceptual. So in research methodology, we generally apply both the patterns, both the methods. First, we develop logic, we prepare conceptual background, and then we go for empirical testing. And that testing means that provides us evidence. And that is consistent to each other. Science is about the creation of knowledge, not the application of knowledge. So when we create a knowledge, it means we are practicing the science. Science cannot settle debate about values, good or bad. That is why Copenhagen, you must have seen Oppenheimer new movie. Oppenheimer has cited Bhagavad Gita. So he was trying to justify whatever invention he has done in form of atom bomb. So he said that in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna has already mentioned. So because science does not value good and bad, right or wrong. And you must have seen now artificial intelligence, AI news readers are there in different channels. Few days after we will see AI security guards, AI professors will be there in the classrooms, AI surgeons may be there in the operation theater, and so on and so forth. Because there is no debate on this value system, right and wrong. Oppenheimer case I have already discussed. Ultimate goal of science is better the human condition. So that we have to learn. The ultimate objective is very clear. How to ensure a stress-free society, problem-free society, how to improve living condition of a human being. So whatever research we are conducting, either we are in economics, in commerce, in management, in finance, in entrepreneur, in behavioral science, in psychology, whatever domain, whatever area we have, we should ensure how this research finding can help the user, the society, how we can, reduce hardship of the society, hardship of a common man. If that is the purpose, then it is scientific and then it is justified. How to conduct a scientific inquiry? Methodology is the science of finding out research, knowledge, truth. First, we have to design how to find knowledge. The standards for determining truth is rigor in logic and methods. The scientific community determines the standards of rigor and professional competence. Each scientist is accountable to the scientific community for adhering to standards of professional competence and norms. Norms and competency is there, is set. So we are supposed, as a scientific researcher, supposed to be accountable to the community and to follow the standards. And professional competence is also very important. The visible part of scientific conduct and result is reconstructed logic that we can visualize what you have done. If the construction, whatever theory we developed, is reconstructed with logic, then it serves the purpose. Otherwise, it has no meaning. So try to ensure novelty and reconstruct the logic with the help of your research that we are leading or supposed to conduct. The ethics of science is in the conduct of the scientist. So we have to follow ethics. Unethical practices are not, admissible in the society. So that is very important. Two school of thoughts I have already mentioned in the previous slide. And the one is epistemology and the another is ontology. So how these two school of thoughts reacts and acts, and how it is important to conduct a research. Pre-modern, modern, and post-modern society we can categorize into three sections. Look into economic condition, and for last 75 years of independence, if we want to look and divide the 75 years of independence today in this Amrita Kal, then we can have before 91, after 91, 30 years, and after 2021 to next 2051. So in three sections, we can easily categorize our economy. But it is not related to that economy. It is related to the development of human society, civilization in the society, in the human society, and that is known as pre-modern. Only one reality. No individual experience matters or allowed. This was pre-modern era. Only one reality, which is given by the mythical sources or by the authoritative, or church or monarch or whatever system was there. If priest has given, it is supposed to be followed. King has given, supposed to be followed. So there was no space for other. Modern, there is an objective reality, and it can be explained like temperature, and we have different subjective experiences. Temperature we can feel now it is close to winter, and after 4 or 5 months we will be in spring, then the next summer, and so on and so forth. So temperature can be witnessed according to the subject, and subject experience may be warm, cold, and so on. So that is called modern. Now we are expressing that today is very cool, today is very hot, but it was not in pre-modern. But now individual opinion, individual experiences are being considered because it is measured and it has space. Postmodern approach, no objective reality, only images of reality or subjective experiences, and all are true. Agreement is neither necessary or desirable to define reality. So postmodern means after this subjective and objective reality, if we have checked, then there is no objective reality, only image. We have to understand what kind of reality will be there, and accordingly we have to move ahead, and subjective experiences all are true. That is the third phase of this epistemology. So three type of truth may be there if we are following this epistemology, and these are set in the society. What kind of society is there, we can easily understand. Then pragmatism, positivism, hermeneutics. Pragmatism, thinking about solving problems in a practical and sensible way, rather than by having fixed ideas. So pragmatic means generally in spoken English and conversation, we talk it and talk them, and we known them as opportunist, but they are not opportunist, they are pragmatic. So pragmatism means they always try to solve the problem, and they are very practical and sensible too. Then next one is positivism, which can be scientifically verified or which is capable of logical or mathematical proof, and therefore rejecting metaphysics and theism. So that is, I'm not going in deep and detail because we have to cover other parts also, but these are the basic components of the ideologies that we are supposed to lead when we are conducting our research. Hermeneutics is the theory and methodology of interpretation, especially the interpretation of biblical texts, wisdom literature, and philosophical texts. Yesterday, I was attending your workshop and Madam had talked about bibliometric analysis. So that kind of text and wisdom literature and philosophical texts are part of this hermeneutics. So this much was about the epistemology. Those who are leading in sociology and political science researches and anthropology, they know the importance of epistemology. Then next is ontology. Borel and Morgan in 1979 has said that ontology is a branch of philosophy that studies the nature of reality and the essence of its existence. Nature of reality and its existence is the study of ontology. And again, it has optimism and subjectivism. Both are there. Concrete structure that exists out there, external to humans and beliefs. It is according to Holden and Lynch. They have defined how this objectivism is placed in ontology and how it can be analyzed. So that exists out there, external to humans and beliefs, the world, predates individuals, and will continue to exist as a tangible entity regardless of people's action. So the theory is existing with the human society, how we can respect and how we can test it. Subjectivism, on the other hand, maintains that reality is created by individual. So here we can create the reality which is not existing, and that the world is a mere projection of the human mind. This is defined by Morgan and Smirich in 1980. Objectivists believe in a single reality. Subjectivists believe in multiple realities. So multi-realities, and both can coexist. It can coexist. So by this diagram, we can understand both ontology and epistemology and what kind of research method is to be applied. If you are leading in ontology, it is objectivism, and if it is scientific. So theoretically, ontology, methodology is scientific. And if methodologically it is humanistic, then it is subjectivism. The same component at one time it will be objective, and another time context is different. If it is scientific context, it is objectivism. If it is humanistic, it is subjectivism. Because scientific means we are dealing with machines, and humanistic means we are dealing with humans. So when we are dealing with humans, we should be subjective. How are you? How is your health? Where were you? You were not there in the college, in the university. So that is human. We are trying to connect. That is, if we are trying to connect with emotionally, then it is subjective. And if we are not connecting with emotions, then it is objective. So ontology, if it is, and then if no human interference, no emotions are included or no emotions are touched, then it is said it is scientific. Because it is dealing objectively, means it is dealing with machines more and the mechanical components. The next approach, that is epistemology, If it is scientific, means positivism. And if it is humanistic, means interpretivism or phenomenology. Here, in epistemology, we have to think for positivism and interpretivism. Interpretation depends on individuals. How we interpret. Truth is same, truth is common, truth is truth. Truth cannot be explained in a different way. But as an individual, we can have our own argument on the available evidences. We can have our own interpretation. So if that is there, that is humanistic, because every human, every individual is having his or her point of view. So accordingly, we will interpret. But if it is scientific, then there is no interpretivism. What kind of views are required? The world is tangible. In scientific approach, it is said that it is tangible and predates individuals. Singular reality. But in humanistic, multiple realities. The world is socially constructed, created by minds of individuals. That is the approach of humanistic approach. But scientific approach means it's tangible. Singular reality, as I've already mentioned. The researcher is external to the independent of the phenomena being researched. And in humanistic, the researcher is part and interacts with phenomena being researched. Is part of the society, and we are discussing it. Research attempts to reduce phenomena to context-free generalizations according to scientific approach, scientific model, paradigm. Research attempts in humanistic, it attempts to provide a contextually bounded understanding of the phenomena. So that is the explanation of both the knowledge domain and how it works, because research requires both. So this is the model paradigm based on ontology, objective and subjective. And if both we want to lead ahead, then we need epistemology. So ontology cannot be completed without the assistance or without interacting with epistemology. So both are very, very important, cannot be discarded, cannot be separated. That is the message with this figure, with this diagram. Epistemology includes a positivist, critical, action research, and interpretivist. So ontology, we have subjective, we have objective. And when we come to the epistemology, these are the types of researches that we are supposed to conduct. And how to collect data. When we come to the data collection methodology, data gathering, so then it is two types globally, not only in India, not only in a particular place, because it is scientific. So globally, standardized methods are there as for concerned data collection methods. Data can be of two types, quantitative and qualitative. And both quantitative and qualitative we can collect with the help of case studies. And techniques are also mentioned, big data, experiments, surveys, nantography, then interviews, observation, focus group, audiovisual, archive, particularly in the case of social sciences, anthropological studies and history, archaeology. Generally we go for archives. So physical artifacts, oral history, ethnography. So these are the major broadly discussed techniques which are followed for data collection. In normal science, particularly science means you don't think that I'm talking physics, biological science and others. Science means search of truth. So when we are going to apply our brain, we are going to test that logic, means we are talking of science. Normal science is empirical. Data, evidences and observations are necessary to support theory. So when theory means conceptual, conceptual means logic. If logic is supported with that data, data means evidence or observation, then it comes, oh, now fine, it is fine. I have quoted one example of how to get our vehicle started. We insert key and we on ignition, and then it get sparked and started. So that is the theory, logic supported by that observation, that experiment. Determination of significant fact, matching of facts with theory, and articulation of theory, basic paradigm of normal science that we accept. Research based on shared paradigm is committed to the same rules and standards for scientific practice. Commitment and the apparent consensus it produces are both the genesis and the continuation of a research tradition. And paradigm involve different assumptions of truth or reality. Normal science is based on modern view of reality. So modern view of reality means we are talking of science. That's all. As we are conducting our research in corporate, in industry, economy, so we call it business research. Business research labels I have mentioned here. If we are conducting inter-firm level, then firm level, group level, individual level, and cross level. So these 5 levels may be there. When come to the first one, that is inter-firm level, means firm to firm or firm to environment. That is inter-firm. Comparative study, a comparative study of Nokia and Samsung. Comparative study of ONGC and BHEL, or comparative study of any 2 firm, Maruti and Honda. Firm level means a case study of ONGC, a case study of Gas Authority of India Limited, GAIL. Firm is specific, and under that category, we try to analyze the level of strategy. Strategy, generally, in case of an organization or a firm, we conceive vision. Vision is being articulated by the stakeholder. And when we convert that vision into mission, then it becomes specifically a firm is specific. So vision is the philosophy articulated by the stakeholder. Mission is the translation of that vision into mission, means now it is firm specific. And when we convert that mission into objective, then objective into plan, and plan into policy. So implementation level, when we come to the implementation level of a particular action or policy, it is known as policies. And as a member of that organization, as an employee or as a manager or executive, whatever we are working, we are supposed to follow that policy. And after over a period of time, within 3 months, 6 months, or quarterly, half yearly, annually, regularly they are analyzing. The industry, the firm is analyzing its data. They have regular research is being done. But policies are not changed frequently. So quarterly revision, in case of our monetary policy of the country, quarterly they review and then they take decision. The same pattern is now followed and applied by the organizations, business houses. So quarterly analysis of the policies effectiveness in terms of output, in terms of outcome. So if there is a failure, policy lapses, paralysis, then they would like to review it. And again, they will make efforts to achieve the output. In next quarter, if it is not achieved, again they will review. In the third quarter, if not achieved, in the fourth, means after completion of 1 year, not achieved, then what they do? It means the policy formulated or laid down by the organization is not having the capability to achieve the target. What they will do? Now they review, they change the policy. So when we change the policy, means we are going for some alternatives. Then it becomes strategy. So goals are already decided. When existing goals are not achieved by the organization with the laid down policy framework, then organization formulate strategy. So strategies are alternatives. Alternative. So what if the target is failed? You can presume in case of any organization. You take example of Maruti because it is very close from Faridabad. Maruti four-wheeler, Maruti personal cars in ordinary class to the luxury class, in SUV also. No, n number of models are there. But if you count the sales quantity of each model, you easily can understand that one particular model is the leader of the market and others are not. Why? If the engineer is same, brand name is same, technology is same, quality is there, everything is taken care of by the organization, but still one model is appealing to the mass level, to the majority of the people in the society, and others are not. So that is the problem. Distribution problem, they analyzed. Designing problem, engineer says that, sir, we have applied all the techniques that we have learned as an automobile engineer. So everything is par excellence, quality product. But still, the market share is not at par in case of all the models. Where is the failure? So that failure, if we want to overcome from that situation as an organization, we have to review our policy and then we have to formulate a strategy. That is called strategy. Structure. Structural definition. You must have heard about Sahara City. So Sahara is not an organization. Sahara is a family. Sahara Parivar. That is the structure. Sahara Parivar. Similarly, in case of other organizations, if you look Tata organization, they have different kind of integrity. Tata is known for its integrity. So integrity is a different, domain at a different height and extent. Culture, organization culture, cross culture, because we as an individual employee, we are having our own society, we have our own culture or social beliefs. But when we come to a particular organization, we have to follow organization culture. What is, how, and what mechanisms are being applied and practiced to manage that cross-culture management. So these kind of studies, cross-culture management, then policy issues, strategy, structure, all are discussed under firm level researches. Then group level dynamics, group dynamics. Some employees are they don't adjust. Small adjustment issues are there. Some employees are good in team. Some employees are good in individual capacity. They are good, but when they join a team, their performance is not good. Then individual level, again, individual attitude, behavior. So psychology, organization level, marketing, finance, all aspects are discussed and can be researched. I have mentioned, so decision-making perception, employees' perception, customer perception, and cross-level also. So cross-level, firm, group, and individual. So employees of marketing in Honda. So employees' attitude working in Honda in marketing section. Similarly, consumer having consumer perception about a different Maruti. So consumer is individual, perception is individual level, psychological, and then group and then firm. So that kind of cross-level researches can be done. Commonly used methods to conduct a behavioral study includes survey research, laboratory experiments, quasi-experiments, secondary data, design, qualitative and case methods. So these are a few of the methods which are extracted from the basic methods. Basic methods are known to all of us. One is exploratory, another is conclusive. So I have extracted from these two methods. The difference between quasi-experimental and true experimental on the basis of assignment and control over the treatment. The first is assignment to treatment. The researcher randomly assigns a subject to control and treatment groups. In quasi-experiment, some other non-random method is used to assign subjects to groups. The next criteria is control over treatment. The researcher usually designs the treatment and decides which subjects receive it. Then the quasi-experimental design explains about the researcher often does not have control over the treatment, but instead studies pre-existing groups that receive different treatments after the fact. A use of control group, it requires the control and treatment groups in true experimental, and in quasi, the control groups are not required, although they are commonly used. So this is the subject-wise and control-wise experimental. Suppose we want to, generally students, scholars come to me and they said that, sir, we want to study impact of advertisement on consumer buying behavior. So impact study after watching a TV and that after viewing that advertisement, can we claim that after viewing or after watching that particular advertisement, I went to purchase a product? It is very tough because we did not control the group. If a group is controlled and experimented design, then we can claim and we have observed the changes in their behavior, then it is fine. Otherwise, there are n number of factors which influence our buying behavior. So we can't say that a particular advertisement in a particular show or particular serial or channel, I have seen and I went to purchase a product. Can't. And if we claim and we prove that this has happened, then our research is not scientific because we did not design an experiment. So that is what this particular discussion is on. First, we have to design an experiment. And true experiment and quasi-experiment, both I have already mentioned. So impact study requires a pre-data. So before advertisement, what was my behavior? And after advertisement, what is, suppose training, after this 6 days research methodology workshop, if we have recorded as an organizer, if your knowledge base and your behavior, your expertise or competence is recorded before attending this program, and after completion of the program, again it is recorded, then easily we can find out that this is the level of learning. This much you have learned and this much required to be covered. Otherwise, it is, it is vague, not concrete and not scientific. So as a researcher, we have to design first. If impact word we are using, otherwise don't use impact because we don't have pre and we are not going to design an experiment. We don't have control group. Control group means the participant are not supposed to be changed. They will be same participant, they will watch, they will see the advertisement, and then we will record their behavior, what kind of changes are there. This is very common research process. First, it starts from problem, defining and identification. How to define a problem? Sometimes what we see, but it is not there. Some different, problem is there. That requires Illuminous effect is very famous study in management sciences. So we have to conduct a well-defined mechanism to identify the problem. Because most of the time, suppose if we are not feeling well today, what we do, we go to a physician. And what physician does, he asks us to go for X-ray, go for pathology test. So this testing is the method of identifying the problem, what the patient is suffering. from what kind of disease, what kind of illness he or she is having. So physician is not sure. He is not going to prescribe any medicine without having identification of the problem. And for that, they have a set method. Either they will suggest to go for pathology testing or go for radiology testing. As a researcher, it is our prime duty to adopt a proper mechanism to identify the problem. If problem is identified, then half of the research is conducted. Because if problem is known to us, then accordingly, if doctor is knowing what is the root cause of that illness, then accordingly he will suggest tablet or capsule or injection or nothing is required. Then second is the cost value analysis of the information. What kind of information we are collecting in order to identify the problem? Cost and value. If the study is not feasible, not viable financially, we can't conduct it. So financial viability is very, very important. Professor Sinha generally used to say that finance is the lifeblood of the organization. So without finance, cost benefit, as a researcher, if it is costly, then nobody would approve the proposal. Cost-effective studies are always welcomed, always promoted. So that is very important. Selection of the data collection method. In the previous slide, I have discussed selection of the sample. Sample means we have this whole universe. And out of that universe, how to select a sample which represents and which can represent the whole universe. That is very important. So selection of sample which represents the universe. Otherwise, it will be biased one and the study won't have its global coverage. So to have the global acceptability and global coverage, it is very, very important to select a sample which represents the whole universe, whole population, in short. Selection of the method of analysis. If data is collected, sample is defined, then we have to apply. Several methods are there. Accordingly, we will apply it and we will analyze the data. Estimate the resources needed. What resources are required, that we will estimate well in advance, and accordingly we will move ahead. Prepare the research proposal, and then research proposal based on the findings will be done. Questionnaire is prepared, scale is prepared. We are using a standardized tool. We have developed a tool. We are testing a tool, or so on and so forth, whatever we are doing. And if it is final, then we will go to collect the data. And after that data, it will be analyzed and report will be submitted. So the summary of the previous slide, summary of this slide is here. We have two types of researches. First type of research is exploratory research method. Exploratory research method applied where the researcher is having no clear-cut idea of the problem. Means vague problem. He or she is in a vague situation. So how to come out from that vague? We conduct exploratory research. And three methods are very common to conduct this exploratory research. First method is survey of knowledgeable person. Second is literature survey. And third is case study. So when a researcher is not clear about the problem, he or she is in a vague situation, we will conduct exploratory research. We will follow exploratory research design. And one of the methods we can apply, either we will interview knowledgeable person, we can have panel discussion, we can have focus group interview, or we can follow depth survey. So panel group, panel discussion, depth survey, focus group interview. Depth survey means one-to-one. there are some certain fields and areas where people generally won't speak in public. They want, but in one-to-one, that is covered under depth survey. And in focus group, if you see during the general elections, media person go to the voters and they ask to whom you are going to vote, why, what is the agenda, what is your program, to whom you are going to support. People, start shouting and cribing. So that is the method that is called focus group. Depth survey is one-to-one, interviewing an individual. And panel discussion, generally we are aware about the media discussions, media debates, panel of experts are invited. Similar approach we can apply in case of any organization. In our case also, in other social sciences disciplines also, that can be done. So this is the first method of conducting survey of knowledgeable person by following three methods: depth survey, focus group interview, or panel discussion. Then the second one is literature. If you are preparing your synopsis or you are writing thesis, there is a separate chapter based on review literature, past studies, literature review. So that review literature review, past studies are part of the exploratory research, because we are taking, clue from the past studies. What theory is available? What are the findings? So that is the second method, literature survey. And every scholar follow this, because we, as a researcher, in case of our own study, we are also trying to come out from the way. And on the basis of that literature survey, what we do? Literature survey means review literature. We formulate hypothesis. So hypothesis is always based on the findings of exploratory research, means literature survey. Either the theory is supporting the existing knowledge domain or not supporting. So hypothesis may be null or alternative. That's all. And third one is case study. The best example of this case study is pandemic. During this COVID-19 pandemic, we all have seen that there was no clear-cut idea, because the whole society never witnessed such type of pandemic ever before. Because when it was Spanish flu in early 90s, today nobody was, there to share his or her experience, because 100 years almost were over. So it was new to the whole scientific community and to all those who are involved in medical science or health science. So this pandemic, they all have taken as a case, and they try to reach on some conclusion, concrete conclusion. Someone said that now the distancing is not the solution. A few of the scientists, they were having that droplets are having certain distance range, and after that range it will not spread. It is infectious, it is not infectious, and so many, because it was not proved. But after analyzing, after collecting data, after analyzing the cases, today it is known to each and everyone in the global community. Now we are well acquainted with this kind of pandemic. So this is called case study. A particular organization, particular subject, particular domain taken into consideration, and after having consistency and continuous study of that particular organization, the conclusions are being drawn. Suppose we are a scientist in agriculture field, and we have developed a seed, high yield variety seed we have developed. So how we will prove and how that seed is to be promoted and to be distributed to the farmers without experiment? So what we will do, we will conduct a case study in a small group, in a small farmland. and then we will see its results. So case studies are generally taken in small organizations, in case of a small unit, and if the unit is being on whatever expectations were there with the study, and accordingly the conclusions will be made and hypothesis will be framed. So hypothesis generally is an outcome of the findings of exploratory research. Either we have surveyed knowledgeable people, either we have conducted case study, or we have done literature survey. I have seen several synopses and theses which generally mention hypothesis without any background, without mentioning any past, without citing any past study, without citing any study. No pilot study is there in the methodology, but hypothesis is there in the final chapter. How did it come? How did it happen? Because, according to this slide, the hypothesis is an outcome. Because exploratory, if we want to go for testing, and in the theory, both the theories, ontology and epistemology, we have seen that truth is to be proved. So logical evidence is to be provided. So logical evidence, if we got some clue while conducting an exploratory research, requires to be tested. So when we go for testing, then we have to formulate some hypothesis. Hypothesis means tentative statement. We have to formulate assumptions, tentative statements. So that is known as hypothesis. And for testing of that hypothesis, we conduct conclusive research. And conclusive research can be causal and experimental. And on the findings of conclusive research, decisions are being taken. Decision is implemented. So conclusive research means experimental, and exploratory research means qualitative. So qualitative and quantitative, both the researches are being done by each and every scholar. When we do review literature, we are conducting exploratory research. And based on that exploratory, we will formulate hypothesis. And then we go to collect data and test it, applying appropriate research methodology, tools, statistical tools. And after proving the hypothesis, we will conclude. And on the basis of the findings of conclusive research, new idea is novelty. So whatever new idea, because now theoretically and practically, logically and experimentally, we have proved the theory, existing theory, or we are now leading to a new domain. So that is the novelty. If novelty is there in the research, then we are successful researcher. If novelty is missing, without substance, without novelty, we are submitting paper and then again it is rejected, or we are trying to publish it anywhere, it has no meaning. So if novelty is there, if the proper scientific methodology is adopted, and theory is very important. Either we are testing a theory or we are building a theory. So theory, guided by theory or results in theory, both are very important. Scientific research is systematic, controlled, empirical and critical investigation of natural and social phenomena using commonly accepted methodology, either guided by theory, the hypothesis about the presumed true relations among such phenomena, or results in theory and propositions about the possible true relationships among such phenomena. So that is very important. What kind of theory? And that theory means deduction and induction. Either we are testing a theory or we are building a theory. If we are testing, deduction, deductive reasoning begins by suggesting a theory and designs a research method to test this theory. Trochim and Donnelly 2008. So it is top-down approach. Top-down approach means theory is existing, we are testing. Deductive method, first approach. Deduction follows highly structured methodology and often investigates causal relationships between variables to explain a certain phenomena and generate generalizable findings. Generalizable findings means suppose we have conducted a study in North India on students and young generation. So that study is to be generalized to that group across the globe. That is called generalization. If theory cannot be generalized, then it is not proper evidence. So theory proper investigation is not there. So we have to test the existing theory. Malthusian theory, Ricardian theory, whatever theory we are going to test, that theory is already there. And how they build that theory, the components are also defined. So as a researcher, we have to follow the standardized mechanism to test that theory. That is called first approach, means deduction. The second approach, inductive theory. During this pandemic, that was inductive. Every scientist, medical scientist, they were trying to build a theory. So inductive theory building begins by specific observations. Observations are very important. Regularly we have to observe. Suppose human behavior is our study area, so we have to observe human behavior right from childhood to the young age to the old age. So every stage, we as individual are having different type of requirements during our childhood, during our teenage, then when we become adult, and after that, and now. So every stage, and it is applicable with all the individuals. So that is called inductive. Specific observations are very important, in which patterns, we have to observe patterns, relationships are identified to form a theory about a certain phenomenon. So if we see that a particular person follows this, then it will be part of the theory. That during childhood, what we need, a child need toys. But when you go to university, you don't require toys. You need vehicle. When you are settled, you need four-wheeler, you need house. Individual is, the person is same, but his and her requirements are changed. And that is called bottom-up approach. Bottom-up approach means from the observation and consistency in that observation, consistency of the behavior during our observation, we are generalizing a theory. We are building a theory. And this is more clearly explained with the help of this diagram. In induction approach, observation is the first part. And observation pattern means consistency, consistently. Every morning, 9 o'clock, I leave for my university. So that is my behavior. But then hypothesis and then theory. Hypothesis will provide empirical evidences. In deduction, theory is given by someone else. Now we are testing. And who developed the theory? They have given parameters. So on those parameters, what we do? We get photocopy of that scale, that questionnaire. We distribute it to the concerned respondents, and then we observe and we confirm whether it is confirmed or not. Whether the existing theory is confirmed today or not, that we will do. So if the findings are, if the relationship is positive and same as suggested in the theory as found in the past studies, then it is confirmed. It is, if there is any change, it is not that, then new theory is there. So new theory building can be done if the relationships are not according to the set principles. So that these are two methods that we have to apply. So how to lead, what kind of approach is required here, more specifically defined in research approach, under deduction method, under induction methodology. So first is approach to investigation paradigm. So highly structured. Deduction, I have already mentioned, is highly structured and positivist. Positivist means ontology and epistemology. and interpretivist. So both methods, both kind of theories are part of our methodology that we have to understand and we have to explain in that light. Sequence of investigation under deduction, then first theory, because we are top down, then hypothesis, observation, and we will confirm. Under induction, we are bottom up, first observation, consistency of pattern or consistency of that observation, then hypothesis will be formulated and tested, and if tested, and if the hypotheses are confirmed, theory is built up. So try to build a theory. My suggestion to all the scholars who are participating and who are attending this workshop is theory testing is fine. When we are writing a paper, it is good. But when we are leading a PhD or research to earn a PhD degree, then definitely we should build a theory. So if we will try today, then within our lifespan, we will be in a position to generate a theory. The purpose, explanatory and exploratory. Action is, yes. Some disturbance is there? Any query? Oh no. Explanation of causal relationship between variables. Cause and effect. Cause and effect means fertilizer and productivity in case of agriculture. Training and work efficiency. Training and motivation. Award and inspiration, motivation. Productivity. So cause and effect relationship. Exploratory, gaining an understanding of the phenomena. Data collection, under deduction, it is quantitative, and in the category of induction, it is qualitative because we are building a theory. Generalization, need to generalize conclusions, less concern with general theory, because we developed a theory. Now the generations to come, they will generalize, they will test my theory and then they will generalize. But existing theories are easy to generalize. So how this functions, scientific research process and types. The green arrow indicating deductive research. Then pink is inductive. Then dark black is theoretical research. And the red one is descriptive. So all type of research that we have tried to, explain here. Interplay of the research question under this deductive will go to review literature because it requires, then literature review to theory, hypothesis, then empirical testing, and final. So under inductive, after this literature, inductive is not going to theory, hypothesis, directly literature to empirical testing. And after testing, it is coming to the theory, hypothesis, and then going to research question. Otherwise, the other components are again having that interaction, theoretical research question to literature to theory, hypothesis, and going to research question. It is not coming to empirical testing because it is theoretical research. And descriptive research is from research question to literature, and literature to not going for hypothesis, going for empirical testing and then research questions. So this is the simple explanation of whatever we have discussed so far. That again, it can be explained here in observation pattern theory. This is how we can ensure a logical, scientific study in sociology. The theories, logical, then deduction. So whatever, in the previous slides we have mentioned, this is simple explanation of that method. So hypothesis is rejected or accepted, and then how we test it, what kind of approach is required. So here is a kind of curiosity puzzle, means where the first extreme left, and if you see, research question is not clear. So that is curiosity or puzzle. Then review literature will help us to come out, and we then find a theory. And if theory is there, then we will test it. It is called deduction. If theory is not there, then we are making a theory, then it is induction, and both requires observation. Again, it is already discussed. What kind of methodology is required? That is very important. Under deductive method, exploring relationships, correlation, partial relation, correlation, multiple regression analysis, factor, these all, and we all apply. We all apply these tools to analyze our data. Comparing groups, t-test, ANOVA, MANOVA, ENCOVA, and now the structural location model. So all these tests are there when we are testing a model or testing a theory. And when we are building a theory, template analysis, thematic analysis, discourse analysis, hermeneutics, and grounded theory. So these are the right side theories are applied. If we are building a theory, we need to follow these principles and these methods. So qualitative and quantitative. Again, exploratory and conclusive. Creswell in 2002 said that quantitative methods investigate phenomena through the collection of quantifiable data in numerical form and apply mathematical models and statistical techniques for data analysis. This is what Creswell has said. Then Williams in 2011 said in social science, quantitative research is often used to question relationships between variables, yielding results that are predictive, explanatory, or confirmatory. All three: predictive, if we are going for prediction; explanatory, if we are explaining; or we are testing. We are testing means confirming. We are testing existing models or existing theories. Bremen said in 2012, it aims to produce generalized findings in the form of theories and formula, and so is sometimes associated with positivistic and deductive studies. So these are, Strauss and Corwin has said, qualitative research depends on words rather than numbers. Qualitative, I'm happy. I can't say how many meters, how many liter, how many kilo, because I'm happy. You are happy. So that kind of informations and that kind of expressions comes under this qualitative research. Depends on words rather than numbers, and can be generally described as the findings of which are not produced by means or quantifications. This is said by Strauss and Corwin in 1990. Williams 2011 again defined this qualitative. It adopts a holistic view that seeks discovery from involvement in the actual experiences and aims to provide an in-depth understanding of social phenomena by exploring and interpreting collected data. Exploring and interpreting whatever data is collected. So holistic view that seeks a discovery from involvement in the actual experiences. So whatever experiences, and in-depth survey, in-depth understanding, I've already mentioned when I was talking of exploratory research methods and survey of knowledgeable person. Gulati, 2019 said, qualitative data includes narrative or descriptive accounts, mostly in the form of text. So that is what about qualitative data. And this is the relationship, how we can collect qualitative and how we can collect quantitative. Qualitative data, quantitative data, both leads to variable. And in qualitative, it is generally ordinal or nominal. In quantitative, it is interval or ratio. So these are the general strengths, and that I will leave it to you, because what kind of probability and non-probability weaknesses are there? So both the methods are there. Simple random sample, if we are applying, it is probability. systematic, stratified, cluster, multi-stage. These comes under probability sampling. Then non-probability is about quota sampling, using stratified sampling and selecting individuals from each group using predefined quotas for each group. Attempts to produce a sample that has the same variability as that which occurs naturally in the population. Then judgmental, purposive, snowball, making contact with few individuals. Suppose we want to collect data from golf players. So golf players are generally rare. So what we will do, we will try to catch one golf player, and then he will tell us some other golf player's location, he will give us. So then we will go to that golf player, from one person to another person. That is called snowballing. Self-selection. Self-selection means allowing individuals to express their desire to take part in the research process. Self-selection. You have seen during pandemic, several people, they said that this clinical testing of the vaccine can be applied with them. So that is risk-taking too. But in social sciences, that kind of risk is not there. So if someone wants to include himself or herself in that panel, can be taken. Convenience. Convenience is conducting the survey or approaching the people who are known to me, known to the researcher. So it is convenience because you are known to me, and if I will give you my questionnaire, you will fill it because you know I am pursuing my research. So that is called convenience. So these comes under non-probability. How to construct a questionnaire is very important. Questionnaire is a general title because questionnaire means item. Item leads to variable. Variable leads to construct. Construct leads to theory. So this is the method. If item is clearly explaining and defining a variable, and variables are clearly helping to develop a construct, and constructs are clearly explaining and defining the theory, then theory is proved and theory is built. So theory building based on item construction. So questionnaire construction is very, very important. Questionnaire is a general title that includes some methods in which each person is asked to respond to an identical set of questions in a predetermined order at a certain point in time. It is the most widely used method for collection of primary data. Different scholars, they have their own opinion. It is popular in business research because it has the ability to harness data from large sample that may be geographically dispersed and provides broad statistical analysis option. Zygmunt has this idea. Variables, opinion variable, which represent respondents' views, what they think. Behavior variables, which convey respondents' actions, what they do. Attribute variable that record respondents' characteristics, what they are, such as demographic data. Awareness of the type of variable is important because it guides the selection of questions type, whether open-ended and close-ended. So finally, we conclude questionnaire and questions into two categories, whether it is open-ended or it is close-ended. Close-ended, open-ended, hardly difference is there because under close-ended options are given, under open-ended options are to be expressed. So when options are expressed, then it requires a different kind of approach to analyze that information. Independent variables, we want to know if the independent variable affects the dependent variable. An extraneous variable, unfortunately, an extraneous variable that we are not interested in might also affect the dependent variable in some way. Suppose we are going to purchase a product and the prices are going high. We don't know why the prices are going high. Manufacturing cost is common. Everything is decided by the manufacturer. Consumer is ready to pay, but prices are sometimes it goes high. Why? Because of some extraneous variable which are not visible, not on the part of the manufacturer, not on the part of the market competition, but on the part of some external forces which are not taken into consideration. So that is called extraneous, which is extra, which is neither dependent nor independent. Dependent means based on independent variable. Independent means they are independent. They have some role because our age is independent. But our age and our maturity, judgmental, experience is based on the year spent in a particular domain, in a particular field. So age is independent. Our income is independent, but whatever we are going to purchase based on our income. If our income is high, we will go to purchase more quantity products. It is presumed, not true, but presumed that if I am earning high, I will spend more. Not sure, but this is a kind of assumption or can be presumed in the society. Dependent variables are which are manipulated or controlled, presumed, and I have mentioned. Dependent variables are the outcome variables and are the variables for which we calculate statistics. The variable which changes on account of independent variable is known as dependent variable. On the basis of independent, when it changes, then means it is influenced or affected by independent variables. Moderator, it is a special type of independent variable. The independent variable's relationship with the dependent variable may change under different conditions. That condition is moderator, mediating and moderating. The factor which is measured, manipulated, or selected by the experimenter or to discover whether it modifies the relationship of the independent variable to an observed phenomenon. So moderator. Hello? Please mute yourself. Yes. Moderator is clear? Factor which measured, manipulated, or selected by experimenter to discover whether it modifies the relationship. So experimenter means designer. The researcher is taking that variable into account to identify whether it modifies the relationship or not. Mediating. Mediator is a way in which an independent variable impacts our dependent variables. It is part of the causal pathway of an effect, and it tells you how or why an effect takes place. Mediation analysis is a way of statistically testing whether a variable is a mediator using linear regression analysis of ANOVAs. Full mediation, a mediator fully explains the relationship between the independent and dependent. Partial mediation, there is still a statistical relationship between the independent and dependent variable, even when the mediator is taken out of a model. So moderator, dependent, independent, extraneous, and mediating. All we have extraneous is now. It happens sometimes that after completion of the study, we wonder that the actual result is not what we expected. In spite of taking all the possible measures, the outcome is unexpected. It is because of extraneous variable. Variables that may affect research outcomes but have not been adequately considered in the study are termed as extraneous variables. Extraneous variables exist in all studies that can affect the measurement of study variables and the relationship among these variables. So here we have explained variable examples. Dichotomous. Dichotomous means two poles, male, female, and likewise literate, illiterate is mentioned here. Trichotomous, urban, rural, semi-urban. In religion category, Hindu, Muslim, Christianity means dichotomous when we have two options, trichotomous when we have three options, multiple variables when we have more than three. Open-ended and closed-ended I have already mentioned. Open-ended questions are similar to interview questions that they allow respondents to reply freely in words. And that is qualitative. Close-ended questions, on the other hand, restrict respondents to a number of answers to choose from So options are given to the respondents and they will choose. List category ranking is also mentioned. No need to repeat it. Reliability. So whatever we prepare, if a tool is developed or we are using a already standardized tool to collect the data, we generally go for testing whether the tool is reliable or not. For what purpose we are applying it, whether it is providing the same information or not, is requires to be tested. A common method to assess reliability of questionnaires is Cronbach's alpha statistic, which uses inter-item correlations to measure internal consistency. That is what Rattray and Jones 2007 has. So internal consistency, generally we call it item analysis, we also call it. So Cronbach alpha is very common, everybody knows. Now SPSS provides all the information, all the analysis is provided within a mouse click. Even after confirming validity, it is strongly recommended that questionnaires are tested before being administered. So before going to apply with the respondents, we require to standardize it. This is achieved by running a pilot study. So when we conduct a pilot study means we are conducting exploratory research. So pilot study, in order to conduct our research, is part of exploratory. So all the researchers, they follow both the methods, exploratory and conclusive. But we didn't mention it because we don't know. We do it. Methodologically, we are correct, but conceptually and knowledge-wise, we are not in a position to explain that what we did. And that is why somewhere, somehow we miss it. And that little difference makes a huge difference in our quality terms. In terms of the quality, in terms of publications, in terms of presentation and exposure and experience, it makes a huge difference. Though the difference is very little. We followed all the procedures, but we didn't mention it. We don't know. And that is why we sometimes we feel inferiority complex in comparison to our competitors, or sometimes due to ignorance, we don't know what we did. That is what. So today my observation was, and my take on the issue is, be confident because you follow all the methods, and whatever method you follow is scientific, logically, and evidence empirically tested and proved. Validity. 4 types of validity generally. Validity is probable truth or falsity of an assertion or interference. 4 types of validity. Constructive validity. Present when measure produces results consistent with the alternative valid measures of same construct. Then internal validity, absence of alternative explanations. External validity, it presents when control variables do not interact with the causal variables. Then statistical conclusion validity, significant presence of covariation between variables. Internal validity versus external validity. Internal validity, conclusions are warranted, controls extraneous variables, it eliminates alternative explanations, it focuses on accuracy and strong research methods. And external validity, findings can be generalized, outcomes apply to practical situations, results apply to the world at large, results can be translated into another contexts. Constructive validity, again, can be categorized into 4 sections. Content validity. Content validity refers to the extent to which a measure represents all facts of a given construct. For example, when the measure is absent or deficiency or contamination. Criterion related validity, when the measure relates to other constructs as expected. Measures how well one measure predicts an outcome for another measure. That is criteria related. Convergent validity, a parameter often used in sociology, psychology, and other behavioral sciences, refers to the degree to which two measures of constructs that theoretically should be related are in fact related when the measure relates to other measures of the same construct. Discriminant validity, whether concepts or measurements that are not supposed to be related are actually unrelated. Discriminant, when the measure does not relate to other constructs, are as expected. Internal validity should be strong statistical validity, strong theory, internal, extraneous variable, constructive validity, appropriate sample, external validity. So these are the methods, these are the components. Contribution to knowledge. So if a research is not contributing to the existing knowledge domain, then it has no meaning. Either we are building a theory, we are testing a theory. What is the novelty? If novelty is not there, so that novelty is contribution to. We have to address an interesting and important puzzle, contribute to a current conversation, connect it to current theories and constructs, use current normal scientific method, select a type of international research, engage in appropriate contextualization. Contextualization is very, very important. If the contextualization and generalization is not done, then there is no contribution. So how to go for that contextualization? To see 2004 had easily with this diagram, we can understand and we can know the interaction between interchange between contextualization and knowledge. So how to go for contextualization? Low degree to high degree. Context specific research, then context embedded research. And the interplay is easily visible. You can note it. I will also share PowerPoint with Professor Sinha, and it will be available to the scholars who are attending this workshop. Use of current methods, that is fine. So with the help of the methods, you can contextualize and you can generalize. That's all today. Thank you very much. If you have any queries, you are most welcome. You can.
Thank you, Dr. Purohit.
Yes, sir.
Any doubt, please ask the question. किसी को किसी तरह का डाउट, किसी को किसी तरह की
देखो,
डिजाइन
डाउट तो होना चाहिए और डाउट तो नहीं होगा तो आगे कैसे बढ़ेंगे?
हाँ, जो भी किसी के पास डाउट है कर सकते हैं।
रहीम दास जी ने कहा कि एक है साधे सब सधे। तो एक है साधे सब सधे हमने पहले बता दिया कि आपका जो आइटम है क्वेश्चन है, आइटम लीड्स टू वेरिएबल, वेरिएबल लीड्स टू कंस्ट्रक्ट, कंस्ट्रक्ट लीड्स टू थ्योरी। एक है साधे सब सधे, आइटम एनालिसिस, आइटम आप ऐसा तैयार कीजिए, पहले तैयारी उसी को बनाने की कीजिए। हाउ टू कंस्ट्रक्ट ए क्वेश्चनर, दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। क्वेश्चनर आपका बन गया और शुड बी बेस्ड ऑन द एग्जिस्टिंग नॉलेज डोमेन, क्योंकि हम बगैर लिटरेचर के तो करते नहीं है, हमें जानकारी नहीं होती इसलिए हमको लगता है। तो हम जो भी रिसर्च करते हैं वो साइंटिफिक होती है, क्योंकि उसमें एक्सप्लोरेटरी भी है, उसमें कंक्लूसिव भी है। हम हाइपोथेसिस फ्रेम करते हैं लेकिन हम उसमें पास्ट स्टडीज को मेंशन नहीं करते। हम कहते हैं हमने कोई भी मेथड लगा दिया। आजकल तो SPSS के पैकेज हैं, हमने हर पैकेज में डेटा डाला, डेटा तो कोई भी रिजल्ट दे देगा। अब आजकल पानी वाटर लॉगिंग से डेंगू हुआ, मच्छर, डेंगू से लोग जहाँ पानी हुआ डेंगू हुआ, पानी तो कहीं और भी हो गया। तो आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि एक रिसर्च, उसको कहते हैं स्प्यूरियस कोरिलेशन। स्प्यूरियस कोरिलेशन ये है कि देहरादून की बारिश, बिहार में धान ज्यादा हुआ, बंगाल में मलेरिया हो गया, ऐसा कोई रिलेशनशिप डेटा डालेंगे तो डेटा तो दे ही देगा। कंप्यूटर में आपने डेटा डाला, मलेरिया पेशेंट्स इन बंगाल, पैडी क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन इन बिहार एंड वाटर रेनफॉल इन उत्तराखंड, 3 स्थिति का डेटा डाल दिया, आपको कोई रिलेशन है नहीं, लेकिन डेटा है, डेटा विल बी इंटर्ड इन कंप्यूटर एंड प्रोग्राम विल प्रोवाइड द रिजल्ट्स। लेकिन उसका एप्लीकेशन क्या है? उसका जनरलाइजेशन क्या है? एपिस्टेमोलॉजी एंड ओंटोलॉजी, डिडक्शन इंडक्शन तो मेथड्स हैं, लेकिन जो थ्योरी है वो एपिस्टेमोलॉजी बैकग्राउंड में। और मैंने उससे पहले बताया कि हम किस गवर्नेंस, चर्च से गवर्न है, हम स्पिरिचुअल लीडर से गवर्न है, या हम डेमोक्रेसी में, हम कहाँ हैं हमारा। उसके बाद हम फिर आगे हमारी थ्योरी, क्योंकि कोई भी आप रिसर्च लिखेंगे ना, थ्योरी होना बहुत जरूरी है। हमारी थ्योरी क्या है? कैपिटलिस्ट मॉडल कहता है कि भाई सब मार्केट फ्री, तो सारा मार्केट फ्री हो गया, तो उसमें क्या है? सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट। सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट था एनिमल किंगडम के लिए, लेकिन वो कहां चला गया? आपका आ गया वो गवर्नेंस में, इकोनॉमी में। अब इसमें क्या होगा? जो डिफरेंटली एबल्ड है उनका क्या होगा? जो सीनियर सिटीजन है उनका क्या होगा? गरीब का। लेकिन हमारा जो मॉडल है, जो वैदांतिक, ये तो वेस्टर्न मॉडल है, कैपिटलिस्ट मॉडल है। हमारा मॉडल क्या है भारत का? तो हमको अपना मॉडल पता होना चाहिए। व्हाट अकॉर्डिंग टू वैदांतिक फिलोसफी, व्हाट इज द गवर्नेंस मॉडल ऑफ इंडिया? जब हमें इंडिया के गवर्नेंस मॉडल का पता ही नहीं है तो हम कैसे कहेंगे? तो हमारा मॉडल क्या है? हमारा मॉडल कहता है कि अमंत्र अक्षरम नास्ति, अमंत्र अक्षरम नास्ति, नास्ति मूलम अनौषधम, अयोग्यः पुरुषो नास्ति, योजकस्त्र दुर्लभ। कोई अक्षर ऐसा नहीं है जिससे मंत्र न बनता हो। अमंत्र अक्षरम नास्ति, कोई भी अक्षर ऐसा नहीं है जिससे मंत्र न बनता हो, यानी जिसमें कोई चार्म ना हो। हर अक्षर का कोई ना कोई मंत्र है, कोई ना कोई चार्म है। नास्ति मूलम अनौषधम, कोई वनस्पति ऐसी नहीं है जिससे औषधि न बनती हो। अयोग्य पुरुषो नास्ति, कोई मनुष्य ऐसा नहीं है जिसमें योग्यता न हो। अयोग्य कोई नहीं हो सकता। योजकस्त्र दुर्लभ, योजना बनाने वाला चाहिए। तो आवश्यकता है कि हम उसकी योजना को कैसे निर्माण करें कि हर व्यक्ति का उपयोग हो सके। यह हमारे शास्त्र में है। लेकिन सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट में कौन है? जो फिट है, जो फिट है, जो कंपीट कर सकता है, तो वो आगे बढ़ेगा। बाकी कहाँ जाएंगे? बाकी को कोई स्पेस नहीं है। और हम क्या कहते हैं कि हर व्यक्ति के अंदर योग्यता है, अयोग्य कोई नहीं है, उसके लिए योजना बनाई जाए। अब इस मॉडल पर हम काम करेंगे तो हमारा गवर्नेंस इकोनॉमी डिफरेंट मॉडल की होगी, और जिसका मॉडल सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट है उसका मॉडल अलग होगा। तो हम दोनों के मॉडल को तुलना करके एक रिसर्च निकल नहीं सकती, क्योंकि हाइपोथेसिस और बैकग्राउंड फिलोसफी इज डिफरेंट। यही एपिस्टेमोलॉजी है, यहीं से ओंटोलॉजी एपिस्टेमोलॉजी ड्राइव होती है। तो रिसर्च को करने से पहले आपको ये समझना पड़ेगा कि वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, इतने आज तक G20 की बैठकें हो गई, किसी का था क्या ये मंत्र? हमारा मंत्र है अयम निजा प्रोवेति गणना लघु चेतसाम उदार चरिता नाम तू वसुधैव कुटुंबकम। पूरी वसुधा हमारा परिवार है। अब इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब यह है कि मैं जो पढ़ा रहा हूं और जो पढ़ रहे हैं, हम सब एक परिवार के हैं, तो मैं सही पढ़ाऊंगा। जो डॉक्टर है और जो पेशेंट है, दोनों का एक परिवार है। तो डॉक्टर अपने पेशेंट को परिवार के परिजन समझ करके इलाज करेगा तो कभी चीटिंग करेगा। जो दुकानदार है और जो ग्राहक है, वो दोनों एक परिवार के। कितना बड़ा दर्शन है, फिलोसफी देखिए आप। देयर इज नो स्पेस एंड स्कोप फॉर एक्सप्लॉयटेशन एंड चीटिंग, ये मतलब है उसका। तो इस दर्शन पर हमको आगे बढ़ना है। इस दर्शन का हमें ज्ञान नहीं, तो हमारी जो रिसर्च की अप्रोच है वो इस दर्शन पर बेस्ड होगी। वन फैमिली, वन अर्थ, वन फ्यूचर, एक। क्योंकि हम एक फैमिली, जब परिवार एक होगा तो कोई दूध वाला मिलावट करेगा, क्योंकि पता है कि दूध तो घर पे जाना है। दूध बेचने वाला दूध में मिलावट नहीं करेगा, मावा बेचने वाला, पनीर बेचने वाला मिलावट नहीं करेगा, यह जान करके कि ये दूध मेरे घर पे जा रहा है। अध्यापक क्लास में पढ़ाएगा यह जान कर कि मेरा बच्चा पढ़ रहा है। डॉक्टर अच्छी तरह से इलाज करेगा ये समझ कर कि मेरे माता पिता हैं। समाज के अंदर पूरे, और इसको आप पूरे वर्ल्ड कम्युनिटी में ले जाइए, पूरे वैश्विक परिदृश्य में ले जाइए, तो समाज में कितनी समरसता है। यह दर्शन है हमारा। अब इस दर्शन पर आगे रिसर्च करेंगे। इससे हमारा साइकोलॉजी, हमारी कॉग्निशन, हमारी थिंकिंग अप्रोच ये सोच डेवलप होती है। तो हम जो भी काम करते हैं इस दायरे में करते हैं, क्योंकि ये हमारे जीन में डीप रूटेड है, ये ब्लड के अंदर है, इसको कोई ऊपर से नहीं दे सकता। तो ये इंडियन फिलोसफी का हिस्सा है। तो इसलिए आपको ये समझना पड़ेगा, अपनी रिसर्च में आप इन चीजों को हाईलाइट करेंगे तो आपकी रिसर्च यूनिक और नोवेल्टी की ओर जाएगी। बाकी कॉपी पेस्ट तो सभी करते हैं, तो डोंट डू दैट कॉपी पेस्ट, ऑलवेज फॉलो द बेसिक अप्रोच एंड क्वालिटी। थैंक यू वेरी मच डॉक्टर सिन्हा साहब।
थैंक यू सर, आपने बहुत ही एलोबरेटिव फैंटास्टिक लेक्चर और स्टेप वाइज ब्रीफ आपने G20 के मोटो को भी रिसर्च में बच्चों को समझाया। आप खुद एक अच्छे रिसर्चर हैं और अच्छा रिसर्च करते हैं, और आप जो बोलते हैं वो एक तरह से आपकी वाणी रिकॉर्ड ही होता है कहीं ना कहीं। और रोहित जी के साथ हमने लगभग 15-16 साल काम किया है साथ में ही।
अभी भी चल रहा है,
अभी भी चल ही रहा है, लेकिन उस समय तो साथ ही थे, एक ही एरिया में रहते थे। तो पुरोहित जी का तो रिसर्च पर मुकाबला नहीं है। अच्छे रिसर्चर हैं, अच्छा रिसर्च कराते हैं, अच्छा रिसर्च का फाइंडिंग्स देते हैं, जो कहीं ना कहीं हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था में, भारतीय अर्थव्यवस्था में या कहीं ना कहीं पॉलिसी मेकर को इसकी जरूरत है। और आज जो डॉक्टर पुरोहित ने आप लोगों को बताया कि रिसर्च का इम्पोर्टेंस कितना बढ़िया है, कितना अच्छा है, कि रिसर्च के बिना तो हम आगे उठ ही नहीं सकते हैं। और हमने वेरी फर्स्ट डे कहा था कि रिसर्च तो हम डेली करते हैं, घर में करते हैं, रसोई में करते हैं, आते जाते करते हैं, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं एक अच्छा रिसर्च से ही कुछ ना कुछ फाइंडिंग्स निकलता है। धन्यवाद सर। आप मैं डॉक्टर रचना को,
आप सभी को नमस्कार।
डॉक्टर रचना को वोट ऑफ थैंक्स के लिए मैं आमंत्रित करता हूं। और ये सेशन आज यही अंत होगा। कल का जो सेशन है आप पार्टिसिपेंट के लिए है कि डॉक्टर पूजा गोयल दिल्ली स्कूल ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स में है, वो कल आपको हाइपोथेसिस टेस्टिंग पर बात करेंगे। डॉक्टर रचना श्रीवास्तव।
Thank you, sir. Fortunate to give vote of thanks to Professor Purohit. I am very thankful to Rishabh Educational Society also for conducting 5 days national workshop on research methodology for society and for education system. जीवन का सुंदर आकार बनाती है, ना समझ को समझदार बनाती है, कलम से रिदम में चलती है जिंदगी, शिक्षा ही स्वयं से साक्षात्कार कराती है। I am very thankful to Professor Purohit for giving his valuable time and share his knowledge with us, which is an asset for us, by describing the systematic research design, systematic research process, elements, data analysis approaches in which deductive and inductive, prescribed quantitative analysis, qualitative analysis, reliability test, validity, questionnaire, pilot study, and many more. Thank you, sir, very much for such a beautiful your lecture. I'm very fortunate that I always listen you and able to get whatever you said in my research work also. Thank you being a part of this 5 days national workshop. Thank you, sir. Thank you all the participants from different universities, colleges who are being the part of this national workshop of 5 days. Please take care of yourself. Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow on the next lecture of 4 day of national workshop. Good night.
Okay, thank you. Namaskar सभी को।
नमस्कार जी, थैंक यू।
Okay, bye.
Namaskar, sir.